Well, I see a number of families who have children with undiagnosed conditions, and they are often under several different specialists, and they have been in the hospital system for a long while, each aspect of their care being looked at, but without an ability to actually work out what the single root cause of all their difficulties is, and that's often a role for us in clinical genetics. But with our currently available repertoire of tests, we're able to make a diagnosis for only about 1 in 4 of the children that I see in clinic.
That's surprisingly low.
It's surprising, and it's very frustrating because we try as hard as we can, and some of the families we've been working with, we've been trying for years, but with the test that's currently available to us, that's about as good as we can get.
And what are the consequences of that?
The consequence of that is that it's possible to offer supportive therapy to a child and to support their various different problems, but it's difficult to look forward into the future and see how things might develop for that child in the future. And once you can make a specific genetic diagnosis, I've seen for many families it really does transform the care, in that you can focus in on the cause, you can then look a little bit towards the future to see what support that child might require in their education, etc. And you can focus the medical treatment to specific problems that are known to happen in that condition, then you can look out for them. And also for the families, it often reduces their isolation, in that they can then get in touch with other people who are facing the same challenges.
It's not, though, is it, that you're offering curative treatments here, is it? I mean, or I don't know, sometimes maybe you can, but I would have thought in most cases it's support and treating the consequences of whatever genetic change it is, rather than being able to cure it.
I think that's right, but also I think that it's a sort of natural human desire to want to understand what's causing the problems, and it can often be very helpful to actually be able to pinpoint that. And often it relieves a huge burden of worry for the parents who've worried that it's something that happened during the pregnancy or didn't go ideally at the time of the child's birth. And when you find that it's actually due to a genetic problem that's been part of that child's story since they were conceived, then it can alleviate that anxiety.
And presumably, if parents think that it's a genetic fault, but they don't know what the fault is, that makes it very difficult for them to know whether to have children in the future or whether to tell their relatives.
And I think that's something that in the genetic service we work with families to try to provide advice, and where we haven't got a specific genetic cause, we can provide estimates of risk, but where we've got a precise cause, we can give very accurate advice. And whilst for a few families the risks are high, it might be as high as 1 in 4 that the problem will happen again. In fact, for very many, the problem's very low, and it's arisen for the first time in that child, and they are the only member of the family who's affected. And actually there's a very low risk, and that can bring enormous relief to parents if they're able to access that information. But that information depends on being able to make a precise diagnosis.